will not give my sister a penny from our $69,000 inheritance for her infertility. I think it's fair. Am I the a-hole? I am 29 female and my sister Ella is 31 female. My husband's Tom and her husband is John. Ella is bisexual and our parents were religious AF. So when she brought home a girlfriend in high school, they kicked her out. When my mom passed away, she never got any of the inheritance.
So they cut her out of the inheritance just because she likes girls?
The both of us had cut contact with our parents, but I still decided to accept money because I figured it's one of the good things to come out of our abusive life, so why not? The legal side of things were finalized a week ago. Ella and John came to see me while my husband Tom was at work and told me that they wanted to talk about something important. They had said that they had exhausted all of their fertility money and didn't have enough to try IVF again. I could see where all of this was going.
They want some of that fertility cash.
So I just said, I'm sorry, Ella. I understand. I was thinking about this as well. And Tom thinks that this is the right thing to do. You should have half of the money. You deserve it.
This is not where I thought it was going to go. That's like super fair.
Her husband, John, tells me that's not what they wanted to talk about. That they wanted all of the money.
Wait, how does that make sense?
Give it to me.
Every single cent?
Apparently, half won't be enough. I tell them that I was going to use my part, or if she didn't want the half, all of it, for my daughter's college fund and another fund for her to use whatever she wishes during her teenage years.
She's literally investing in her daughter's future. Don't take away school.
Who needs college, okay?
That's true. John is an advocate for no college.
Throw it away. I reminded Ella that we always promised each other our children will be financially well off because we never had that growing up. Where I live, college is extremely expensive, so despite my daughter being only 3, Tom and I wanted to start this for her. I tell Ella and John all of this, and Ella is just very upset at this point. John is more willing to have a conversation, though. She comes back from the kitchen and says that I'm rubbing the fact that I'm a mother in her face.
My womb works.
I'm angry by this point because I thought she loved my daughter like her own. Ella said I was sabotaging her and that I owed her for looking after me when we were young kids.
What, you babysat your sister a couple times and now you're like, I'm entitled to the whole fortune?
John said since Ella faced more struggles, she deserved all of it despite knowing full well our parents hurt me regularly as well.
I don't think it should be like a who had a harder life gets the most money deal.
I was just not prepared to fight. My daughter needed my attention and I wanted Tom to be by my side because Ella was acting aggressive. I asked him to leave and I called Tom. We discussed this again and agreed we shouldn't give them the money. Ella calls me and I pick up. She tells me that she has to try again and that her relationship is rocky because they're frustrated they can't have a kid. Now we see what's below the surface and why they're pushing so hard for this money.
A baby will not save your marriage. Spend that money on a trip to Italy and then just f*** like rabbits and then maybe you have a chance of having a kid.
I told her I would not give her the entire amount and I just hung up. I felt guilty about all of this, but I don't know if I should. Maybe since I don't have an immediate use for the money, I should have given it to her. Am I the a-hole? Now there is an update. I guess the question right now is OP the a-hole at this point?
No.
No?
No. It should 1,000% be split evenly. And it, like also what it does is like it's like, oh, my trauma is worse than yours. You ever want to do some trauma comparisons?
Yeah.
I think split it in half, easy peasy lemon squeezy.
Hello. I apologize for the update taking so long, almost a month. I got caught up with everything that was going on, but now that I have a moment, I thought I'd write this since a lot of you guys wanted an update. I got a lot of helpful tips, and I also understood that I was not the a-hole. The relief I felt was huge, so thank you for helping me out. I didn't reach out to Ella or John like I initially planned, now that I knew I had nothing to apologize for. A few days after, though, John had come over alone to my house and apologized for what Ella said.
I mean, that doesn't happen often. Apologies in a Reddit story?
It's kind of crazy. But I was dumb for thinking they would stop there because John asked for the money again. They still felt like they deserved all the money. Luckily for me, I did not have to deal with all of this for the second time since Tom was home and they talked it out. It ended with John threatening to sue and whatnot. Ella began posting the nastiest things on Facebook and it was embarrassing to explain to my friends. I just felt like I had to cut off contact. They were being aggressive aggressive and just overall so horrible to my family. I told Ella that I did not want to have contact with her anymore, and I blocked them all. Ella showed up with John again, though. This time, they asked for half of the money. Interesting.
Okay, so now they're going basement bargain hunting.
So Tom and I talked about this, and we decided not to give them anything.
That doesn't feel right.
Zero.
That doesn't feel right.
We offered it to them even after the incident, and all they did was insult us. We are going to use it for our daughter's future. We talked to our lawyer, and they can't really do anything legally, and they probably won't even try because they have no money. To clarify a few things, some people mentioned how IVF is not that expensive. Ella chose a very particular clinic. It's their second time doing this cycle, and so they have decided to go for the more expensive option. I don't know why. Hence why they needed more money than their half. At least this is what they told me. We had a poor childhood, but got a big inheritance because our parents were rich. They just didn't spend any of the money on us. And a lot of you think setting up a teen fund for my daughter would spoil her, but it's not anything she would want for fun. It's just an emergency fund that we wanted to set up so she could use it until she turns 18 in case of emergencies, or if she wants a car, money for traveling, or other things not directly related to college. Okay, I feel like we have a pretty big plot twist here.
Yeah.
I don't know if we've heard a lot of inheritance stories actually from our viewers, actually.
No. We would actually love to hear your inheritance stories.
Yeah, I'd be very curious.
And also, I would be curious, like, what would you do in this situation? Because OP kind of flip-flopped, right? I think OP giving them half, non-a-hole move, giving them nothing, even though they were a-holes before, I think is an a-hole move.
I totally agree. I do think that it would be important to, like, how can you kind of like have a repercussion baked into it? Hey, you deserve a repercussion for your actions because you heard us for doing what was a pretty fair thing.
But what we really want to hear is from you guys and your inheritance stories.
Oh, yeah.
And we love reading your stories and comments, especially the comments from our public subscribers. And so I'm going to read a couple right now.
Please do.
So this one comes from the video, my biracial sister called my white parents racist. Basically, OP disinvited her adopted sister from her wedding because she called their white parents racist. Blair Sean says, I feel like she lived a similar life like Kaepernick. His parents gaslit him about race, used microaggressions, and believed they weren't racist. Instead, they had white savior complex. We don't know the whole story. There are many non-white children that are adopted by white parents that have documented all over social media why they believe white people shouldn't adopt non-white kids. There could be, I mean, we don't know the whole story. There could be microaggressions that she has undertaken. Well, from what I remember from the story, she was like really aggressive. And public subscriber Darth Dragon the Guardian says, I'm sorry, but the sister is the a-hole here. The parents aren't racist since they adopted her. We can't say that either quite yet because like of what the other commenter said. Like there could be this whole white savior complex. We don't know, but according to the story, there doesn't seem anything to suggest that.
And we love the dialogue of the conversation that happens here.
And this is what it's for. Like, you know, you guys are providing some great like feedback and different perspectives. And that's what we love about the show. We don't have all the perspectives here.
That's right.
But regardless, we would love to hear your stories and your comments. So publicly subscribe, throw your comments in the comment section, and we just might read it.
See you.